criminal enterprise that envelops both the NBA and La Casa Nostra. The men and women up here standing with me represent a small portion of the leadership team that brought profound justice in an era that needed it more than any. I'll just highlight some of the details in the case and the FBI work, and then you'll hear from the others. But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today, former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging operation that spanned the course of years. The FBI led a coordinated takedown across 11 states to arrest over 30 individuals today responsible for this case, which is very much ongoing. Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Casa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families. And you'll hear more about those details today. The charges and the arrests that were taken down across this country range from wire fraud, money laundering, extortion, robbery, illegal gambling. This FBI will leave no room for any perpetrator of crime across this country. You hear a lot about our work of defending the homeland and crushing violent crime. Well, this work is also representative of a colossal portion of the FBI's mandate to keep America safe and to keep our entertainment industry fair and secure.
Free the squad.
Big drop of names.
Rozier.
Free the squad, man.
I know Damon Jones started all this shit.
He's a culprit.
I feel it in my bones.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
man.
anytime somebody throws soup on you, you probably start some BS, man.
Yeah, I feel like
Shout out to Gerald Smith.
I feel like he said I got the plug.
Oh, he said the play?
Nah, I'm just playing. But man, that's crazy to see though.
Yeah, man, we got to get straight to it, man. Shout out to our sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. Be here. Lays getting closer and closer, baby.
Yeah, boy. So the MPJ, I gotta call you after the show, bro.
Put a bow on him, bro.
For real, bro. What in the hell? 12 points, Mook.
Bro, you are the number one option, bro.
I told you.
It's your debut game.
He's already on the ban
Jesus.
list.
What? He's through
Yeah, he
with
done.
money. Never again.
I'm gonna have to. For real, I probably gonna have to give him a 10 game.
Yeah, he done. His
I'm
brother,
just 10 games.
his brother probably
Let's
took
see.
him off the lake. Yeah, he is cooked.
Nah, his brother his
Why
fans
he
are
can't?
asleep.
I was like, quiet as kept.
He ain't got the
He
lay.
might have took it under.
He ain't got the lay.
He out of pocket for that.
Oh, listen, man, be careful if you out here betting, man. Listen, the developing news this morning, we thought we was about to talk about Wemby going crazy, but nah, man. Free the real, man. Chauncey Billups is not involved in the lays that y'all keep saying on the internet. His was from poker, correct? We will see more news about that coming soon. Get well to Chauncey. Man, that's crazy, bro.
Yeah, poker gambling ring, man. I'll wait till we get full details because that's my guy, man.
Yeah, man. Thoughts and
I don't wanna
prayers to
speak too
everybody
much
involved,
on it.
man. Free the real. Also, what's funny is they showed the meme with a dude looking around the corner while somebody else getting jumped. They said Malik B's a geek this morning.
Where is he at?
Chilling, bro. They still trying to get clear so he can hoop, man. Free the real, man. Free the real.
Yeah, well, y'all Detroit team could use him.
Perception, because like the
Especially
goal
after
of this
yesterday.
conversation should be to like progress, right? Like unless you're ladies that you don't want to fucking deal with men at all, then we should talk
Yeah,
about
we don't
that.
want to deal
But
with
if
black men at all.
I
okay,
love all
Well,
men
I
and
say-
not black men. Just not
okay,
black men.
well, is there any women here who don't want to deal with men, period, or is it just black men, or is it a mixture?
It's just black men, and we actually want non-black men's help in this corrections that you speak of.
So what are the corrections that you're looking for specifically?
Force, because that's the only thing that's gonna work.
But I mean, what are you looking for black men to arrive at? A place of understanding of like what do you want to see
Well, me
change?
We believe that
personally,
there is no hope for them. That we don't believe in changing their minds. We don't. But I'm trying not to say what I really want to say because you're on stage. But if they could not exist, hey, we wouldn't be mad at.
I think for me, I think I want the coddling culture to kind of stop. I think they get validated a little bit too much and they're not held accountable as much as white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Like the legal system works in their benefit a little bit more than they think it does. They're seen as the ultimate, like most oppressed. And I think that that coddling culture needs to stop and they need to be held accountable for their actions.
Because we
Yeah.
live in white male patriarchy, white men set what's socially acceptable. So, with you all setting what's socially acceptable, the degenerate behavior of black male culture needs to be checked, and there needs to be more because we're no longer looking for accountability from them because they've proven that they will not take accountability. We need the men who set the culture to make them take accountability by exacting some sort of consequence for perpetrating behaviors that are not socially acceptable because you all create the socially acceptable behavior.
Man, peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. It's Hood with another video, another spiritual breakdown. Today we're going to do a little something different. Of course, not much different. I've been thinking about ways to continue my little season series, and really, there are so many different examples to kind of prove this particular fact of, the God of the Bible is not this benevolent, powerful deity as we think it is. And it's more or less ruled by a demiurge type of demonic, devilish, satanic, whatever negative connotative word uh, that is the ruler of this particular dimension. And so I've been listening to another podcast and I heard the word Biblomancy. Now, I already do Biblomancy, but I was just thinking, like, what if I did that this morning? And so this morning we got a Bible on our altar. And so I just opened it, and whatever page that I opened it up to, that was going to be what I was going to study or break down. And so in the course, it was a weird synchronicity of events because in the line of it, in the course of it, I got to a particular point where the same thing that I was reading was the same thing that Russell Brand was saying. And it was kind of like spooky to understand the Bible or to understand religion in a reverse way from a Gnostic perspective in a modern day time, and just to observe life in its present form. Right, this video is like 5 days old, and just see how the workings of it, because what I'm understanding, quite frankly, is Satan's little season. One of the modes of Satan's little season is racism. Like it's actually satanic, demonic, and spiritually motivated from the higher ups all the way down. And so, whereas people might, in this quote unquote modern day time, say, racism isn't real, the destruction of the black male isn't real, these types of things. But when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at it as more or less like prophecy. And it was interesting that I opened up the book straight till Jeremiah 19, where it's specifically talking about prophecy. And so, chapter 19, like I just cracked it open, opened it, and then I got to this particular verse, and then I was just like, with me all the time, I'm looking at something, I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what this is talking about, but I trust in myself long enough. I trust myself now that if I keep looking at it, if I start to do a little research, the reason is going to be underneath that, because I feel me just being like a regular person to the point where I haven't been taught in seminary school. I don't know, shit don't just be whisper in my ear and things of that nature. So I just be like trying to figure this out just by being patient, I guess the word is. Because usually the more patient I am with these particular texts, the more richness or goodness it has associated with it. And I do know a thing or two by studying this stuff so much to whereas I can unlock certain doors with metaphysical keys. So Jeremiah 19, and I'll reference this throughout the video, is basically explaining a particular end time event and what's going to happen to the children of the Most High, the Israelites, the tribe of Judah, and the more that I read it, the more I understand it. So I guess I'll just give my give my context of what I think this is ultimately about in the most clearest, concise, succinct way. The children of Israel are the indigenous inhabitants, or the or autochthonous, however you pronounce that word. I can see it. I'm about to see how you pronounce this. Let's pronounce this shit together. Oath, 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 autochthonies, autochthonies, autochthonous. Oh my goodness, this is one of the most craziest words to ever pronounce. Autochthonous, autochthonous, all talk, autochthonous, autochthonous. Damn, what does it mean though? Of an inhabitant of a place indigenous rather than descendant from the migrants or the colonists. One's in the chat if you can understand yourself to be this, meaning that you do not descend from a migration pattern and you do not descend from a colonist, to whereas you are indigenous to the land. So these people in America, which I am, are the ethnicity, nationality of the Israelites. And so when you read the Bible is specifically outlining more or less what happens to us in a space that it seems as though we are the only people who do not know exactly who we are. So therefore, it's we could easily say that the Ashkenazis are the true children of Israel, or we could say that the indigenous melanated people in America are the true children of Israel. So I say this all to say that if that is the truth, which it is the truth, then what tends to happen is that the world is in a topsy-turvy, upside down, in a strange place because God's chosen people are not acting in their full capacity. And when we read the Bible, we disassociate from it at an oppositional level. But what do we know about opposites? What do we know about opposites, chat? Opposites attract. So let's get into it. Thus saith the Lord, go and get a potter's earthen bottle, and take of the ancients of people and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley, the son of Hinnom, by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim there the words that I shall tell thee. And say, hear ye of the word of the Lord, O kings of Judah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place, that which soever heareth, his ear shall tingle. Because they have forsaken me, and have estranged this place, and have burned incense unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah. They have filled this place with the blood of the innocents. They have built also the high places of Baal, to burn their sons with fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came into my mind. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that this place shall be no more called Tophet, nor the valley of the son Hinnom, but the valley of the slaughter. And so, once again, the reason that I was reading this particular verse was through the method of Biblomancy. And I'm just sharing this with you in reference to a different form of divination that you can utilize other than like tarot cards, astrology, or things that you're used to. Just crack open a book, ask a question, crack open the Bible, and read the first thing that pops up into your eyes. Like, like the first verse, the first chapter, whatever your eyes gravitate to, read that as a particular answer. So, yeah, that's Biblomancy. But back to the verse, Jeremiah 19, it really gets me to asking the question, why is God so mean? And why God created a world and a people that would suffer so much, to the point that I'm reading it and I'm thinking this couldn't actually be God in a way that I would understand God to be. Now, am I the end all be all in determining what God represents? No. But I'm able to have my own opinions and own expectations towards what God can particularly offer me. And I'm not no fool. If you tell me to do something and I do it, and you still don't give me the blessing, you still don't give me the anointing, then at a certain point, you just lying to me in my face. And I see evil people get the blessing and get the anointing, murderers, gamblers, liars, thieves get the anointing, get the blessing. I'm going to look at the particular deity side eye. And so this is just how I'm understanding it and looking at it in reference to when I'm reading Jeremiah 19 and the end of it, it says, I will bring upon this city and upon all her towns all the evil that I have pronounced against it, because they have hardened their necks that they might not hear my words. I just wonder at what level of power is God working at? Or are we in a rewrite of the particular paradigm of God's power, because we are reading from and source from the King James Version, which is a highly edited form of the original Bible. So at all points and turns, the Bible has been edited and looked over and onced over and changed and altered and books removed and books added. To whereas I'm asking the question, is God writing the Bible or is the devil writing the Bible? Because I'm under this understanding of the totality of the creator of the universe, that there is no equals, there is no adversary, there is no demonic, devilish force that is at equal or at odds. So throughout the Bible, there are many different times where the devil assumes the kingdom. So, according to legend, King Solomon lost his kingdom to a demon named Asmodeus through a trick, not through outright defeat in the Bible. Asmodeus disguised and convinced Solomon to temporarily surrender his magical ring and his authority. Asmodeus then used the ring to banish Solomon, taking his place of a ruler for a time. This is scripture, and this is ultimately prophecy in this little season, this temporary space and time where we lose track of everything. Because the ways for which that the Bible illustrates itself to be an authority, the deeper research is also saying that they are taking mythologies and stories from other cultures and making it their own. So the question that I ask is, would God adapt a pagan culture and change it and metamorphosize it and alter it to make it its original story when it's not original story? Would God mislead the people through false doctrine? And ultimately, I come to the conclusion that no, God would never do this. Therefore, everything associated with the Bible, with the church, is part of Satan's little season. To whereas to understand God or to understand Sophia, you can recognize, hey, I don't know too much, but I have the capacity to learn or the ability to learn. The reality of God in my life is in my ignorance. I still was able to exist within communal support and can also be communal support in dealing with other people that are ignorant of the truth of God. When I look out into the world and I see wealthy people hopping in and out of Jaguars to walk past a homeless person that was sleeping outside at night, it's getting cold, they got a t-shirt on, and they're figuring out how to get warm, to whereas for some reason they don't have the communal support, they haven't had the ability to learn. Therefore, their existence suffering in some form of ignorance of the support that they need. They're ignorant of what they could do for themselves. And there are countless people that suffer in this world that God is supposed to be in control of, that God is supposed to create. And we exist in a system where we could be successful personally, but it doesn't trickle down to the next person. To whereas, whether you know it or not, if the society around you is failing, so are you failing. To whereas this is a very devilish, demonic, satanic system that nobody really checks because nobody knows where to look for, because the center, to whereas we're supposed to find God, we literally find a false ruler deceiving the whole entire planet by design. So this is why you don't get mad about it. You just educate about it. This is why you talk about things that nobody else is talking about, because you understand the 52 fake out. The 52 fake out is that when people talking about sports, everything is good. But everything associated with sports is supported by gambling. Everything. You take the gambling away, you no longer have the sports. You take the mob away from gambling, you no longer have gambling, you no longer have sports. So when you're talking about sports, modern day sports, in this day and age, they showed you in the movie Him, the devil is in control, and they're not even trying to help you out. Even if you playing sports, watching sports, they trying to take you out in more ways than one. So I just want to go over it again in sections. So, thus saith the Lord, go get a potter's earthen bottle and take of the ancients of the people and of the ancients of the priests, and go forth unto the valley of the son of Hinnom, which is by the entry of the east gate, and proclaim that the words that I shall tell thee. So, once again, go and get the potter's earthen bottle. What is that signifying? What is that talking about? That is talking about go and get the artists, go and get the people that create, the ones that invent, the ones that help us through the day. And take of the ancients of the people and the ancients of the priests. And I want y'all to go somewhere. I want y'all to go to the valley. And when you get to the valley with the artists, with the ancients, with the priests, I want you to tell the leaders the truth, right? And so the verse goes into, it's not on this particular page. Trying to find it really quick. So the verse goes on to say, take all of the people and take the pot and break it. So when we talk about the modern American, this is what we not ready to do. Take all of the Chris Browns and the Kanyes and the Elon Musk and all of the people that's inventing something. I don't know, just name them all. And then say, we not working for you no more. Because you've created a level of slavery that nobody can get out of, called the digital age or the streaming age. Now, the digital age, the streaming age, this is the point where we all in lockdown because we don't understand Kabbalah. We don't understand spiritual systems. And the only spiritual system that exists in front of us is our technology, our phones, our laptops, our TVs. But all of those systems are ones and zeros, right? Kabbalistic systems, Kabbalistic thought. Now, this is the way of the Israelites, to whereas when we as people don't utilize our own system, we'll just figure out something that's going to replace it. So in reference to being born in sin, it would be your particular vice or your particular habit that's more or less tied into technology in some form or fashion. So how art lost its way in the streaming era? What is the streaming era? The streaming era, coinciding with the digital age, is our current era of human history, characterized by the shift of traditional industry to an economy driven by information technology. So once again, if you don't know, you won't grow. And the reason why is because there is nothing really stopping you from learning and gathering pertinent information for your overall growth. But the 52 fake out is that they're really not even trying to do nothing but make money. And I'll explain that going forward. And this is why the system actually has to collapse, because it's not giving nobody nothing that's good no longer, right? The information that we getting is trash now. And the digital age is actually coming to an end. It's been a 50-year run almost. If it started in the 1980s, it's 2025. And this is with the invention of the personal computers and the internet, and it continues today. The key features include widespread accessibility of digital technology, a rapid spread of information, and a fundamental change in how people communicate, work, and live. So the digital age is the ultimate lockdown if you don't understand Kabbalah. And I know you're probably thinking, like, what do Kabbalah got to do with the digital age? Well, let's get into one of my favorite subjects, which is etymology, right? Digital is pertaining to the numbers below. Now, Kabbalah is a system of 10 sephiroths. Or divine emanations or attributes in Kabbalah through which the infinite, unknowable God reveals itself and creates the universe. These 10 spiritual forces are often arranged in a diagram called the Tree of Life, which represents a structural blueprint for the human soul. Now, people don't care about the soul any longer because they only care about the talus, which is limited, right? There is no such thing as 10 in the digital. The digital is actually capped at 9. So the highest you can get in the digital world, no matter if they come up with a holographic, anything you do technology, it can be kind of corny now, right? Because it's cool when you're able to use the GPS to get to your baby mom house. But if your baby mom is an app, now it's kind of weird, isn't it? It's cool to be best friends with Jeromeo down on the 10 block, but if your best friend is Chat GPT, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Digital age is always going to have its limit, but as we was discussing in our New Moon article, limits is cool. Limits is not a bad thing, because if you fly too close to the sun, you're gonna get burnt. So in understanding the digital age, the artist should have never gave into it, because now the artist is getting paid 0.0007 cents a stream on the low end, or a penny per stream on the highest end. Most major platforms paying less than a penny. So you're not even getting paid a penny for your songs. So what is this doing in reference to the art? The art is nothing. If me, you, my mama can put out a CD tomorrow, the same day as Beyonce, what is the separation between, of course, marketing and talent and blah, blah, blah? However, the point of it is that she would have probably had 3 fans tapped into her music in 1994. Now she got 3 people competing with her. And when we look at the streaming era in Spotify and Apple, it's libraries of millions of artists getting uploaded every day, millions of songs, right? Over 100,000 new tracks are uploaded to Spotify every day. Like, how could that dilute and devalue the supply of music? And if 100,000 new songs is available every single day, what if it's a bop that I'll just never, you know how many good songs you ain't never going to hear? And I'll like, it's a world that the devil is in full control of, is all I can say. Because when we look at this particular digital age, if I'm an artist, then I have to go back to physical media. I have to start selling CDs. I have to start selling records. I got to take my music off these streaming platforms. I got to learn how to play live. I got to curate my own shows. I got to create the demand that a person even wants to buy my CD or wants to buy my album. Because when you can just recognizing the way that the system is going. And also recognizing who is in control. So I don't know. I used to be heavy on Fiverr when I first got into like this um, social media lane and content creator lane. I would use Fiverr for a lot of stuff before I actually learned it. But what happened recently with Fiverr is that they are now an AI first company, a strategic shift to streamline operations and increase productivity while simultaneously boosting a new market for AI related services and creating tools to help freelancers use AI and enhance their work. Now, what's ironic about this is because Fiverr's entire business model is dependent on empowering humans, freelancers. It's literally the most human centered place on the internet. To whereas if you needed $5 to edit a video or to write a screenplay, you could go to Fiverr. And these spaces and places are, a lot of humans, people don't have a job, don't have a way of making money. So once again, as much as we feel like AI is taking over, if we a content creator or if we an artist or we a freelancer, like digital freelancer, I personally value the humanity in products and don't like when a product is obviously AI. Now, the problem with what I'm saying is that AI is about to get increasingly and increasingly real to the point that it's going to be somebody that look completely normal, but they 100% AI. Like the way that they interact and everything is going to be 100% normal, but they're going to be 150% AI, right? So when I was reading this, another thing that triggered me was in verse 4 when they said, well, in verse 3, he said, basically, hear ye the word. This is like he wants Jeremiah. He's going to speak through God or whoever is going to speak through Jeremiah. And Jeremiah is going to talk to the kings of Judah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the Lord of hosts, and well, basically, he's going to. Jeremiah is channeling Yahweh, and Yahweh is speaking through Jeremiah to the kings of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And Jeremiah says, the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring evil upon this place. Now, the question that I wanna ask y'all is, will God bring evil or will the devil bring evil? Just in your common sense of mind. Is it God's job to bring evil upon this place? That which soul whoever hear it, ear shall tingle. And my ears haven't tingled yet. I'm just saying, but no disrespect, no shade. I recognize the power of the non-spiritual realm. And I only speak in truth of inquiry and curiosity. Is God going to bring evil upon this place? Or is the devil going to bring evil upon this place? Now, I know nobody want to hear this. Don't no Christian, Jewish person, no Muslim person want to hear it because they never want to say, well, damn, this sound a lot like a person that don't have no power in reference to handling. Now, is you gonna beat your kids' ass every day, even when they don't do nothing wrong, just for the sake of it? Might you just want to be like, is you want to impersonate God? You gonna bring evil upon this place? Well, why do you want to bring evil upon this place? Because they have forsaken me and have estranged this place and have burned incense in it unto other gods, whom neither they nor their fathers have known, nor the kings of Judah, and have filled this place with the blood of the innocents. Well, since you put it like that, I guess you can bring evil upon this place. And who am I? I'm just a curious observer in reference to the world that I live in, and I am plagued with the question, why are we here? That question, it just eludes me, right? Children in digital marketing, the blood of the innocents. I have some statistics. Give me a second. In reference to children in digital marketing. Because what you might be thinking of, like, yeah, they really like this program, is really just the exposure of advertising. So 95% of US teenagers, 95% ages 13 to 17, have access to a smartphone. In 2015, it was 73%. 73% of teens say they use YouTube and TikTok on a daily basis. On estimate, and this is the picture that I got posted. It's a article from UNICEF in reference to the civil rights of children across the world. 1,260 ads per day on social media alone. So what is the blood of innocence? It is the breeding, it is the domesticating and the altering of the mind of the child to desire to only be a consumer. Because what's running the subconscious is the advertising. Who is paying the money for whatever you're watching? The advertising. So therefore, where's the advertising at? Well, I get Netflix and I don't get no ads. You don't think that is ads in the particular Netflix when they pick up a Coca-Cola bottle and drink it? Because within the Coca-Cola is sigils and subconscious programming that are further moving you into NPC mode. The ways for which to talk to your child is through the phone directly without no intercessor. To whereas when your kid look at you, they look at you like deer in headlights. They look at you like you interrupting their flow. Advertising and marketing content is now presented in increasingly subtle and targeted ways. Wherever children spend time on screens, from internet entertainment and video games to educational apps used at school. Teenagers on average, and see, nobody will talk about this because we are living in Satan's little season. We want to get as many people serving the lower form entity as we can. And when we talk about the truth, when we talk about our chakra system, the only God that you'll ever know, which is within yourself, so whereas God specifically said through Revelation, we're going to talk to the 7 churches. And then when I look and I saw the 7 churches, it looked exactly like a man. Then it goes into explain what the man looks like. I'm getting ahead of myself because I love solutions. I'm going to give you the problem. I'm going to show you the problem. But guaranteed, I'm going to come with the solution as well. Teenagers on average are seeing one ad every 10 seconds while scrolling through their feeds, equivalent to 420 advertisements per hour. And researchers are finding that 95% of apps are designed for preschoolers or contain at least one kind of advertising. For preschoolers, you are morphing, and now the kid don't want to do nothing but buy shit. You're going to get a summer job, and you're going to get that $200, $300 in his check, and it's going to be going by Saturday. And by the time he's 52, he still ain't going to be able to grasp it because you spent all your time, all your life being advertised. Niggas is still buying shit that they wanted to buy when they was 12. You think I'm lying? These niggas is buying Jordans because their mama couldn't buy them. And you think I'm lying? You buying the purses in the clothes that you wanted to when you was a kid, dumbass. You have yet to catch up to your present your present goals, right? What you want today. Because you busy trying to get the shit that you imagine. That's why you feel so overwhelmed. You are not present. And it's a reason why you're not present, because they shooting you with an AK-47 with ads, inundating your subconscious mind to where it just presents itself as a all and out block. It's like when you mix all of the colors in the paint bucket, it should become a black goo of nothingness. Because you can't even identify anything. You can't be specific about shit. And everybody is assuming that they know the truth based upon this principle called God, but the true God is the devil. So the truth of the matter, when they get into the science and the PhD levels, they're like, oh man, we don't even know shit. You went to school for 10 years, paid $2.4 million just to say, man, it's really nothing that you could actually know. Got it. This is from the Harvard Gazette, right? Maya Brownstein, the Harvard Chan School of Communications, January 2nd, 2024. Targeting kids generates billions in ad revenue for social media. And it's like where I'm reading the Bible, and the Bible is saying, hey, the blood of the innocents, the valley of the slaughter. And in my mind, I think consumerism, I'm allowing myself to be wrong when I'm interpreting the Bible to say they're literally talking about the blood of innocents, in which they very well be could. Gunmemorial.org. It's tens of people that go up on that website daily, victims of gun violence. We live in a world where on a daily basis, 10 to 20 people get posted on a site called gunmemorial.org, and y'all gonna tell me that the person that wrote the Bible is a benevolent God. I cannot see that shit. Because I know for a fact when I'm in tune to the pleroma and I'm having a conversation with the ancestors, it's a pleasant experience. It is a laughter. It is a joy. The concept of murder is not even fathomable in this dimension and plane of godliness, of divinity. To whereas if God rules the earth, why would he allow mothers to suffer? Why when you doing the best that you can and you know the best that you can is not good enough? When you trying your best, when you showing up for motherfuckers, it's easy to think y'all scrutinizing me for being here. And then you look at the statistics, 75% of children grow up without their fathers. Do y'all scrutinize those 75% of men? Are y'all bothering daddy that's not there? How could you? He's not there. So daddy that stays, mommy that stays, what y'all gonna make them say, oh, it's your fault? We ain't gonna provide you with no tribe and no community. You should have just never had those kids, huh? God created this world. God created this system. It just don't make sense to me. And it's just maybe my brain, maybe my experience. I see homeless people. I see rich people. And we exist as if we do not see the homeless people. God created this system. God created this world. Hard for me to see. Targeting kids generates billions in ad revenue for social media. Harvard study is first to estimate annual ad revenue attributable to young users of these platforms. Social media platforms Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube collectively derive nearly $11 billion in advertising revenue from US based users younger than 18 in 2022. According to a new study led by Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, the study is the first to offer estimates of the number of youth users on these platforms. What am I reading? I'm reading a study that said this is the first of its kind. So therefore, it haven't really clocked to people yet. It haven't really settled in. This is, studies that reach mainstream status. It'll be thousands, if not, tens of thousands of studies to cement it, because the scientific method requires repetition and we're not too sure yet if social media is ruining our children. So saying all of this to say that in the little season, every city is a valley of slaughter, because every mind forgets that it is a negative entity out here that is kind of underneath the surface of what is normal, what is accepted. What is normal, what is accepted, right under there is socialization. Right under there is bullies. It's an evil world we live in, like Future said. So the next verse it says, they have built also the high places of Baal to burn their sons with the fire for burnt offerings unto Baal, which I commanded not, nor spake it, neither came it from my mind, came into my mind. And so the concept of permanence came to mind because I'm understanding Satan's little season to also be the Christian church or white Christian nationalists, and however many black people they can get to be Christians, Chinese people, Indian people, anybody can be a Christian because, of course, you know, it was once a bloodline. Uh, the God of the Bible shattered that bloodline and made it so that the true Israelites did not know that they were the Israelites and allowed people from the synagogue of Satan claim to be the true Israelites. So the allowance of the white Christian nationalist movement to hold the mantle of the true lineage possessors of the Christian faith is another, not another, but just a display of permanence and the need of permanence. The enduring presence or existence, the continuance in the same condition or place. So as the days are leading up, what's really pressed on a lot of these people's minds is that they hope that things can just stay the same. For many, many years, down a rural back road has been a peaceful white family that have been able to live there for generations with ample money, resources, land, opportunity, vehicles, access, privilege, status, space, community, love, animals, you name it. And all they want, all they're fighting for is to keep it the same. They don't want no changes to the system. And that's all they've ever fought for, ever since the 1900s. And of course, God would create a system filled with racism, filled with racist practices, filled with legislation to hold people back just because they had darker skin in a paper bag, I might add. A very scientific process. So what I'm going to do now, we got to listen with our big ears, because the leader of the Christian church is not the true God from a Gnostic point of view. And we have to also wonder, why does a benevolent true God have to restore and recover you and lift you up from a dark place? Or you had to go through sex and lust and drugs to find them? Why wouldn't you understand and know God from the jump? Why wouldn't God give you positive reasons outside of trials and tribulations to access it? I understand it when you are going through a wrong path. It makes sense. You need some form of salvation. But what if you don't want to be salvaged? So the first video I'm going to show you is the actual crowd. And then the next video, we're going to watch and talk for like a few minutes. And I want you to understand it from the context of us living in the little season and how the devil controls this particular paradigm that we call white Christian nationalism. And I'm going to stop sharing and reshare it because sometimes y'all don't be able to hear it.
Really happy to hear that you were going to be speaking at our school today. I was just wondering what the moment was where you sat there and you were like, there's nothing I can do but turn to Christ.
In my country, I got accused of sex crimes, real serious sex crimes. At the same time, my little son was born with a heart condition that required surgery. Everything fell apart. I felt his presence in the darkness and in the chaos. I was forced to recognize that I'd been again ensnared in false idolatry. False idolatry requires as one of the partner components self-worship, self-regard. I've always inclined towards that. I've found it very easy to get involved in myself. Solipsistic, circular thoughts, endlessly thinking about myself. When I got famous, I felt like it was a remedy for the feelings of worthlessness and shame that I'd long carried. Shame that I'm not good enough. Shame of the disobedience of being cast out of the garden, I now know. But a kind of shame and hopelessness and despair. I felt that if I became famous, if I became big and grand and admired and adored, and if I was able to, if women were attracted to me and if men wanted to be like me, I thought that would be a resolution. And somehow when I got there, there was an ashen taste to the flavors of our culture. Their menu offers dishes without nutrition. As it all fell apart around me, as it starkly became clear that the false idols that I'd worshipped, sex and fame, had almost sarcastically turned to taunt me in some dreadful helix, like the chromosomal DNA, the signature that if you don't allow it to reflect his glory will inform you that you are a unique individual snowflake and you should worship what you want and you should fear what you fear and you should make your own personal faith and religion about your own personal desires and cravings. All this come tumbling down. But first, it's not like I could see the cross. Firstly, I couldn't see it. At first, there was just like an emptiness. I live in the UK. I lived there before I came here to be in glorious exile among you magnificent people, you former colonists, you Boston Tea Party anarchists, you lunatics, you radicals, you free thinkers, you Christians, you. I live in a valley there in the UK, a valley carved by time, by ancient glacial time.
A man said that he lived in a valley, bro. And I'm literally, like I told you, this is Biblo. I've read I read the Bible verse before I did anything. And I go forth unto the valley of the, and I'm just sitting there like, yo, what? It's a lot of that he is saying that is like, he talking to white nationalists in a specific religious manner. And the Most High, benevolent Sophia, God of all wisdom is serving the white Christian nationalists and the whole entire universe too? Or is it the devil? Is it Yaldabaoth? Is it Baphomet? Is it Yahweh? Is it the lesser God that they worship? And the lesser God cannot go against the true God. Therefore, the lesser God puts himself in a position to be worshiped by people who have no access to the true God. Now let him finish.
Time there in the valley where I felt like I was in the scars on his back. There in the valley by the river with my dog, I could see, feel almost, beyond the senses, the formation of the cross. I already have him tattooed on me. I already know Jesus. We're in a post-Christian, but once again Christian culture. His iconography, his message, his glory is everywhere, if only you can see it. And suddenly, with this kind of stark, visceral clarity, I felt him and I heard him. Funny enough, someone sent me Pastor Rick Warren talking on some TV show that could have easily created an allergic reaction in me. Televangelism, husband and wife team, fantastic slick hair, all teeth and tax breaks. And Rick Warren, he sat there, unremarkable, and described the suicide of his son without self-pity or shame, just pain. Just the pain that God will help you with. Like the pain of a widow left with 2 children who knows she has a legacy. In pain, you will find him. In self-pity, you're on your own. And something peeled away in me as I watched my life fall apart. And I knew that my son was an opportunity. I knew that I was being given something glorious. And any of you that have lost a child, and may that child rest in peace, or any of you that have looked after a sick child or been
And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters, and thou shalt eat every one of the flesh of the friend and the siege of straightness, wherewith their enemies and they seek their lives shall straighten them. Once again, the benevolent Sophia, true in order of masculine and feminine oppositional truth, God of your heart, goddess of your soul, is that the God that is going to cause them to eat the flesh of their sons? And if so, why? I mean, what a speech. This guy, I see you got a future. So let's get I see you got a future in this show business. Let's get into the solution. Because the revelation is this. Within revelation, talk about a couple of different things. So Satan's little season is a term from the biblical book of Revelation referring to a short period after 1,000-year reign of Christ when Satan is released from prison to deceive the nations one last time. So in 1776, Adam Weishaupt created a secret society that was called the Order of the Illuminati. In 1776, Freemasons started America. At least 9 of the 56 signers in the Declaration of Independence were confirmed Freemasons. But Knights Templar predates Freemasons. Just walk with me. So, Knights Templar Freemasonry. I don't know what Google is talking about. This is just crazy. The Knights Templar, full name, United Religious, blah, 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 is a fraternal order affiliated with Freemasonry. Now, Knights Templar worships Baphomet. It's circular reasoning. The Knights Templar were accused of worshiping an idol named Baphomet. That means that the Freemasons worship Baphomet. No, the Freemasons do not worship Baphomet. Sure, let's do Freemasons riding the goat. Riding the goat is not a Masonic ritual, but a myth and a popular cultural references originating from anti-Masonic propaganda in the symbolism of the goat, which was associated with the devil and witchcraft by detractors of fraternal orders. Why then would they all of these different symbologies? Why are they just going to assume that Freemasons work with a goat? Like, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Because these people are just lying. I mean, we could go on and on and on. We could scroll for days. Are you a Mason riding the goat? So I'm saying all of this to say, the government and the religious institutions in America worship the devil. And you, in your association, we all have some subtle association, whether we work at a job or work for the DMV or got a license or pay our landlord or own a home or get our license, register our car, unless you a super woke, more, or sovereign citizen, you deal with the government in some capacity. And when you deal with the government in this particular capacity, it's not in a benevolent way. They want you to pay them. They want you to participate in the Ponzi scheme. So within Revelation, the point of Revelation is to present a problem and a solution. So in chapter 2, verse 10 through 18 is the solution. And it's very subtle, but if you have ears, you can hear it. Because within the little season is within the middle of the totality of existence. So because we are experiencing this, it doesn't escape us from the totality. So verse 10, John goes on to say, I was in the spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. And this great voice said, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. What thou seest, write in a book and send unto the 7 churches which are in Asia, Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamos, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. Laodicea, get your ass over here. Sit down. Trying to do a video, Laodicea. Somebody named a kid Laodicea in the world. I guarantee it. So without mincing words, the totality, the universal truth, the divine spark is the Christ consciousness, is the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. What's the significance of this? Whatever happens in the middle is kind of inconsequential when you deal with the totality. So dealing with the totality in just the frame of reference, whatever you're going through, the divine spark is within you. Meditate on that. And what thou seest, write in a book. Meaning that when you meditate on Christ consciousness or with consciousness, make sure you journal your experiences and meditate on these experiences in all totality and send them to your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me, and being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. So at first he heard a voice behind him, and he wanted to see what this voice looked like. And when he turned to see what this voice looked like, he saw 7 golden candlesticks, to which me, as an example, being an enlightened, when you see me, you see the 7 golden candlesticks, but you are also 7 golden candlesticks. So the 7 churches in verse 11 are synonymous with the 7 golden candlesticks, because it could have been 6 golden candlesticks. It could have been 38 golden candlesticks. We are going to use 7 in the book of Revelation to identify chakras, but chakras are just not words. Chakras are the enlightened endocrine systems within you. This is God. You are God. You are the child of the Most High. God made you in his image. So when John saw Christ, he saw 7 golden candlesticks. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, right, the 7 chakras, to let you know, whenever you see 7 in Revelation, you're going to see chakras. one like unto the Son of Man, clothing with a garment down to the foot, and a girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his, so now it's telling you the seven candlesticks are associated with a person. Those who have eyes should be able to see. Those who have ears should be able to hear, right? Because the same golden candlesticks is associated with his head, and his hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were a flame of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass, as they burned in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. And he had in his right hand 7 stars, and out of his mouth went a sharp 2-edged sword, and his countenance was as the sun shineth in his strength. So unlocking these particular energies within yourself is going to give you dominion and power, but it's also going to give you the voice of discernment, because it is a voice that's just going to allow everything, but you also need a voice that's going to shut down shit before it even happened. So that 2-edged sword is a blessing. And when I saw him, John, looking at Christ, I fell at his feet as dead, and he laid his right hand upon me. His right hand had 7 stars. And he laid his right hand upon me, saying unto me, fear not, I am the first and the last. I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore. Amen, and have the keys of hell and death. So how does Jesus give John the keys? By showing him the 7 candlesticks, by touching him with his right hand, the same hand that held 7 stars, meaning the power of healing touch, the power of electromagnetic energy, to just being the relaxed version of self, right? It seems as though this is a hard process or a complicated process, but we need to understand that this understanding of complicated is a result of the devil, is a result of the satanic stronghold. Because for thousands, hundreds of thousands years, it was natural to exist in the space of having your illumination, because we had lived in 1,000 years of peace. Now we don't even know what peace is in so many ways, from as simple as handing a kid a cellular device, from the onslaught of, the ruling class raising the prices of things and keeping the wages the same. There's so much being put against you that I will hope that you will understand how you're going to fight back. I will hope that you would know what the solution is within yourself. And once again, nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can relax for you. You have to meditate on the truth. You have to journal. You have to do the exercises. You have to tune in to your own chakras and understand that if God is within you, and the revelation is specific to the 7 churches, the number 7 is mentioned 56 times in the book of Revelation. And in many cases, it refers to symbolic sets, like 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 bowls. Now, many spiritualists will tell you We got more than 7 chakras. And you may have more than 7 chakras, but at least know the base 7 chakras based upon your endocrine system, based upon the metaphysics on it. And, you know, check out my book, Chakra Nova, if you haven't. You know, it's one of those books that if you want to learn about your chakras and you want to be able to write in the book is you. Your ability to meditate, your ability to relax and tune in to the God force energy within you, to tune in to the divine spark within you, is your ability to activate. You got to start to look at people on the internet, right? They're going to tell you, you could do this, you could do that. You should hate him, you should hate him. You should go here, you should do this. You da, 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 da. When are you going to choose yourself? When are you going to do you? Pause. I don't even know if that's plausible. Some of y'all, never mind. Just let it go. When are you going to prioritize you? So, as always, you know, you can Google it, Chakra Nova, Kyrie Anthony, get it from Amazon, you know, and read it, study yourself, take the exercises seriously. Remember to relax. Remember to meditate. Remember to tune in. And one of the good ways to do it, get you a tarot deck, stop reading cards off of apps and AI and shit. Get you a real tarot deck or get you a Bible, get you a Quran and start doing some bibliomancy. I was just going to say cyclomancy. That's a good book. Practice magic. Practice being random. That's where the power is at. But also practice relaxing. You know, practice smiling, practice laughing. Because what's happening is we taking this shit too seriously. That's what Source told me yesterday. I was driving and I'm just like, I'm too much in the matrix, thinking that the matrix is real, and the ways that you deal with the ancestral realms and the way that you deal with the spiritual realms is one, you relax, two, be grateful, and three, smile. Just do that cycle. You know what I'm saying? If you get to the point where you're stressed out, kids getting on your nerves, don't know how you're going to pay the bills, you going to figure it out. But first, relax, be grateful, smile and laugh, you know. But with all of that being said, be sure to support via Cash App, $Hood Mystic 38. Whatever you can spare is always appreciated. You know, I'm always trying to uplift the collective through, you know, truth. And with that being said, it's a hard journey to exist in the world of truth, in a world where I know people might not get it. I know people might not understand. I know people struggle because the devil's influence is just so strong and is spreading and is growing. It's like viral in the ways that it's taking over the hearts and minds of people. But with all of that being said, I want to be strengthened in the truth of the totality. And I see it in you. I see it in myself. And I have faith in the truth, regardless, right? Because it's one thing that I do know. The pleroma, Sophia, its wisdom is incomparable to the devil's deception. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out my books. Check out the links in the descriptions. Join the Substack if you wanted to check out the links in this video or anything that I shared. If you wanted to cop the book and you want to access the link, join the Substack. I will be pushing this on the Substack platform very shortly. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And I'll catch